All right, let's talk a little bit about the market in general. So I've got a prediction here that there'll be some changes in the wireless space. Specifically, Japan's SoftBank, a very large mobility player and carrier in Japan, has made an investment, a very large investment in Sprint, which is obviously our struggling third carrier in the U.S. And Sprint, of course, is sort of going all in with these everything-you-can-eat plan kind of thing.
Data plans, yeah.
Whereas the top two, Verizon and AT&T, have sort of gone to more of a metered plan back to the old days.
I just re-upped our family shared data plan.
Which is not unlimited. And so apparently SoftBank is attempting to inject a little bit of excitement in competitive market space or competitive plans. So I think Verizon and AT&T will have to react to that. They've gone to the metered plan, they've gone to the not all-you-can-eat plan, and they may be forced to relent on that based on some consumer feedback.
Yeah, I disagree there.
Really?
Yeah, they're just struggling to try to differentiate themselves, but until their coverage improves, they can offer as much data plan as they want.
And they're not going to have enough takers? Oh, okay. All right. So, So that's my prediction. What have you got?
Well, we talked about some technology predictions,
right?
And I think we both got opinions about Windows Phone and Windows Phone 8 and things like that. So, mine was that it'll have, I would say, mild success. So I predict a 10% adoption in the enterprise. So it'll be lower than that in the total market. But if you just look at enterprise, they'll rise to a 10% play, which is actually pretty significant. But that'll be it.
I dare you to tell me the difference between Microsoft Surface, Microsoft RT, and Windows 8. Can you really understand and differentiate? You probably can. You better be able to as a product manager. Right? But,
I actually, they keep changing the names of them, but I have come up with, there are definitely 3 things out there as opposed to they were trying to introduce 2 things, RT and Windows 8, and it looks like they're ending up with 3 different things.
I have trouble keeping track of one thing, so I think because of that, there's going to be some problems with marketing. Poor Microsoft has had difficulty in trying to distinguish their products. Now, they've gotten a lot of great reviews on the Surface.
They've gotten some mild reviews, too.
Mild reviews. Well, I try to look at things, and I'm trying to put a nice coat on it.
You're a glass half full kind of guy, huh?
I am. And it's certainly the most interesting product that they've come up with in some time, and the first time that they've introduced hardware into the mix, aside from mice and Xbox and so forth, but on a large scale. So, but my opinion is that they are going to have confusion, and the confusion is already there. What is a Surface? What is a tablet? What is Windows 8? What about my old applications? The whole world of Windows is. What about my existing applications?
I think it's the developer confusion, right? So what they need is devs creating apps for their product line, and if they've got 3 different things you need to dev for, and there's confusion around that, that's going to hurt them.
Right. And people have said, I've used Microsoft Office for 20 years. Where do I install it on this device? And in some cases they can, in some cases they can't. Depends on the device, the operating system, etc. Creating some market confusion, which results typically, right, in lower adoption.
All right, Blackberry. What's going to happen?
I think they are going to see some renewed enthusiasm. So I just read in the Wall Street Journal today that BlackBerry has invited some executives up. They're giving them free BlackBerry 10 devices. They're going to try and seed the market a little bit. They understand that corporate adoption is where it's at, and holding on to those corporate customers is critically important. So I think they're going to get a little bit of a bump. All depends on the quality of this new operating system and the new devices.
My prediction, a bust.
A bust.
Not going to happen.
You are glass half empty kind of guy, aren't you? Really?
Yeah.
Now, what about Europe and Asia, which continues to use that product pretty significantly, where Apple has not quite made the kind of strides, and Google has not quite made the kind of strides that, and quite the penetration that BlackBerry has?
I mean, they'll survive, but it'll be a bust.
Wow. Wow. I think there'll be interest, but I think it'll be mild. to use your term.
All right. Any other technical predictions that you had there?
Yes. So talking about developers, the iPhone and the iOS product does not have multitasking, and for a lot of people that's not really well understood. But it is a very subtle but a very important technical aspect of an operating system and of a computer device. What it basically means is that only one application can run at a time.
So WebOS is coming back.
I don't have that in your list. I don't know. That might be, but the most popular mobile operating system still does not have multitasking. And technically it does. If you're working on mail and the phone rings, then you can receive a call. So technically it does for certain Apple sanctioned kind of applications, phone, messaging, music, etc. But our dear developer community does not have that access to that kind of background processing, and that tends to limit what the device can do. It has greater security, but it is limiting. So I think they're going to relent this year. I do.
That'd be nice.
It would be nice.
Battery life, right?
Battery life is an issue. Obviously, performance is another issue. But I think they're going to relent. They're going to have to. The call is getting louder and louder from the enterprise world. You know, consumers is not such a big thing. They get their music, they get their phone, but corporate applications oftentimes need to run simultaneously.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah. I don't know if they'll do it. I agree it's needed. We'll see.
Okay. You have a better line into that than I do, so I thought any word on the street,
Apple doesn't care about the enterprise. That's the word on the street.
Wow.
I know, so dire. Huh?
We better close this out pretty soon. The predictions are getting more pointed.
So another technology prediction, I think there will be a successful open source MDM project. As MDM is commoditized, an open source, successful open source project, there's a few lingering out there, but I think one of those will gain traction as that becomes a more and more commoditized space.
Somewhere in a garage, somewhere in Bangalore or in Sunnyvale, there's somebody coming up with an open source. Open source solutions have sort of fallen by the wayside. Others have picked up, but certainly the specs are there. They're public. They've been public for a while. So most anybody with some programming chops could probably come up with something like that. So,
all right, a last one.
For me?
Yeah, I got a last one. Do you have a last one?
I have a technical one. I think HTML5 will continue to struggle for acceptance. Too many divergent standards, no standard, too many divergence from a standard, making it very difficult for browsers to be fully compliant and fully functional. It's a great idea. I think most everybody thinks it's a great idea. It's just trying to implement it is difficult. But I think it will continue to struggle, and I think apps will continue to rule. Native apps, iOS apps, Google apps.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Okay.
I don't disagree. I think it's a nice, but it's not. It'll take more than 2013 to become standard and prevalent.
What have you got?
All right, so my final one is that mobility analysts will continue to struggle to how to define this space, and at least 3 new TLAs will come out from the mobility analysts describing how to describe mobility. 3-letter acronyms, TLA, so there'll be many. EMM, MDM, MAM, MIM is going to be coming, Mobile Information Management. So those are always fun for the analysts to come out with.
Right.
And there'll be at least 3 new ones.
TLA being?
3-letter acronyms. At least 3 new 3-letter acronyms this year.
I predict that I will remember what TLA means because I didn't know that. I thought that was an acronym. I didn't realize it was an acronym of an acronym.
Absolutely.
A recursive acronym. I think that's what that is. Okay. Andy, I think we got to get back to work.
Yeah.
Providing our outstanding solution called the Bitzer Mobile Beam Solution. So thanks for joining us, and I hope that you appreciate our predictions. If you've got a few of your own, please be sure to send them to us. Andy@bitzermobile.com. And my address is too difficult to pronounce, so I'll just have Andy receive them all, and you can forward them to me. Happy New Year.